Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the On Deck podcast. I am your host, Roberto, and we are back. Unfortunately, it has been a little bit of time since I've had an upload. I do greatly apologize for that. The consistency hasn't been there like I wanted it to be. And I'm not just going to put out a podcast that, I'm not proud of. So here we are, we're back. And I think there should be some good people in the pipeline that I have lined up. A couple of solos, a couple of people that I think could be a great value, bringing in, different mindsets, different jobs within baseball. Who knows? I might have someone in the realm of baseball coming in to, talk about their job and what they do. We could see someone like that coming on, but anyways, I apologize for, the wait in between pods here. But here we are coming up on the All-Star break, which is, marks the midway point of the baseball season. And, this is just going to be a shorter podcast, have a quick little update of, what we see moving forward and yeah, just talk about some quick headlines that have come up in the last week or so. But most importantly, I would like to take a look at the standings because we haven't done that all year. But there have been quite a few surprises with the standings throughout the league, and most importantly, I'd like to talk about the AL East because that's where my Yankees play. And right now, Yankees sitting in second place, half a game back behind the Rays. But if we look, further down, the rest of the league or the rest of the division, sorry, is quite surprised. Everybody has been either underperforming or just not playing well at all. Boston, sorry, Mateo. But the Jays have been quite a disappointment with the additions they've had. Sorry, Jays fans, but that's just how it is. But somehow John Schneider has been named the All-Star Game manager, which I think has snubbed out the White Sox manager. But we'll talk about the White Sox here in a second. But the Jays aren't looking like the World Series contenders that they were last year. And I know they did get off to a slow start in the first half as well. And then they ended up making a push to eventually make the World Series by the end of the year. But this is a team that's playing below 500 ball. They can't score runs, and everybody on the pitching staff seems to be injured at some point. I know they just got back Bieber a couple starts ago, but I think he actually started today. Gave up a first pitch bomb to Jock Peterson. I could be wrong on the first pitch, but I did see a notification pop up on my phone. But Scherzer hasn't looked good. I know maybe we see Ricky Tiedemann come back at some point. I know he just started throwing. That could be a crazy statement, but with how this pitching staff has looked, like you have Patrick Corbin starting every fifth day. Something needs to change for the Jays, and it has to be on the pitching side. Because they're hitting, I mean, as hot and cold as they get, I think they have some capable bats. But, it's just a matter of can guys stay healthy and, get into a hot streak here. But another team that has underperformed really bad is the Orioles. With the addition of Pete Alonso, who's been, picking it up as of lately, doing a lot more slugging as we expected him to be, as he came in on that massive overpay. In my opinion, I still think so. I'm gonna stand on that. Um, Again, this is another team that has been underperforming. The pitching staff has been ups and downs. Kyle Bradish, who's supposed to be the quote unquote ace of the staff, has had some good starts, had some not so good starts. The back of the bullpen, Rico Garcia did look unhittable for about 3 months. It's kind of slowed down. I know they just got back Ryan Helsley not too long ago, who was their, I guess, second big ticket free agent, right after Pete. He's looked, uh, yeah, it was all right. We expected him to be, kind of dominant like he was in his St. Louis days, but it's kind of a mixed bag right now. But at the bottom of the AL East, we have the Boston, I was going to say Boston Celtics, wrong sport here. We have the Boston Red Sox. That team, they fired Alex Cora. They fired, not Alex Cora, they fired everybody in that, seems like on the bench there, coaching staff wise. Um, but not much has changed. Um, I think they are going to be big sellers at the deadline. I don't know who they're going to move, but I think it's pretty easy to send a Jaron Duran gone or send off a Jaron Duran, Rafaela. Maybe he's on a very team friendly contract. But yeah, they need to shed a lot of pieces because they have a lot of controllable guys. We could see a Willie Abreu go. I don't think he'll be one of the guys moved from that outfield, but yeah, that team has been it's really been a shocker. And obviously the Yankees are playing Boston right now and could potentially get swept, but the chance of hearing Yankees suck, but then they're sitting at the bottom of the AL East is kind of funny, but that's just the rivalry that Boston and the Yankees have. But it's crazy to see just it's the Yankees and Rays at the top who, the Rays never have a crazy superstar, even though Junior Caminero has been playing out of his absolute mind, having an out of body experience. He's had, I think I saw a tweet today, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs in the last 9 games. Like, that's absurd. That's like a good month for some players. But this is a budding superstar for the Rays, and their pitching staff is just going to continue to be solid. And that lineup is just a bunch of solid hitters. You have it capped off with Aranda and Diaz. Shout out Aranda. He's on my fantasy baseball team. Keep killing it. But yeah, the Rays have been a surprise, and I don't think anybody had them, I mean, who knows? It is still almost a halfway mark of the season. But everybody, projections always have the Rays, third, fourth, but they're always going to be an above 500 team and always contention for the wild card spot. But it's crazy to see how that AL East is shaping up. And, moving on to some of the other divisions here, we have the AL Central. And this one's also quite a surprise. The Chicago White Sox sitting at the top of the division right now, half a game up on the Guardians. But, this is a team that's playing 43 and 38 ball right now. And sitting as the top of the division is kind of interesting, but with Murakami out for, I think, a couple more weeks with that hamstring strain, they've been playing surprisingly well with the young piece that they have. Antonacci and Miguel Vargas is looking like one of the better third basemen in the league. Yeah, this is quite a surprise to me. And they still have a couple guys in the minors that they have to bring up pitching wise. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name right now. But this honestly, I would love to see the White Sox make the postseason. I think this could be a fun team to run into. Hopefully they do some additions come deadline time. I definitely think they need to address the pitching staff. And I think they have a couple guys at the back of the bullpen, Mike Vassell, Grant Taylor, absolute flamethrowers in the back end. Could be really interesting to see what happens. Tigers have been quite a surprise. Same thing with the Royals. Both 4 and 5 in this division. Twins sandwiched in there at 40 and 45. Tigers, I think they just, however far Tarek Skubal takes them as far as they're going to go. Skubal is out was it 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks with the elbow surgery, which is absurd that he came back this quick. But man, technology has come quite a long way, especially with surgeries for athletes. But Scooble also hasn't looked super sharp coming back, but that's to be expected. But that also leaves the door open for potential trades, and you know he is now going to be a full-on rental for half a season instead of a full season now. So interesting to see what the Tigers do with that. I hope he doesn't get traded and he gets a full bag, hopefully not from the Dodgers, but who knows with potential lockout coming this summer. And yeah, it should be interesting come free agency for him. But I really hope the Tigers, kick it in gear and hold on to him and at least hold on to being competitive and maybe a wild card spot. Who knows? But that should be an interesting one. Moving on to the AL West, Rangers are at at the top of the division at 40 and 40 or 42 and 42, 500 ball. This it's also been one of the more interesting divisions as well. Mariners are right behind them at 42 and 43. This team goes as far as Cal Raleigh takes them, and Cal has, gone off to an absolute horrendous start, and then was out with a knee issue, I think, knee or back for a little bit. But the pitching staff is going to carry this team. Hold them afloat. They're going to win 3-1. They're going to be close games because this pitching staff, along with the bullpen, picking up Jose A. Ferrer, has done a lot for this team. Just give them the extra depth, extra lefty in there to go along with Gabe Spire. But this team, again, I think they're going to make some moves come trade deadline time. Right behind them is the Astros playing 41 and 44 ball. And Jordan is looking like the MVP of the league, or sorry, the AL MVP. This guy's unstoppable, but their pitching staff has been just a complete roller coaster. Tatsuya Mai looked great for the couple starts. I think the last couple of starts have been really good. He struck out 10 guys in back-to-back starts. So after a pretty rough start and, the adjustment from NPB to MLB, he's looking like he's turning the corner here. I'd love to see the Astros downfall, so I will laugh and cherish the moment as I can, being a Yankees fan. But I really don't think that they're going to stay, under 500 for too long. I know they lost Carlos Correa, which was a huge blow for them early in the season with the ankle surgery. But again, this is the Astros. They're going to find a way to sneak into a wild card, or who knows? The AL West is just in shambles right now that they may just get on a hot streak and sneak their way up to the top spot. For a little bit, we have the Athletics leading the division. They've kind of cooled off, but Nick Kurtz, man, what to say about this guy? He is looking like a superstar in the making. I mean, he probably already is a superstar in some people's eyes, but the combination of bat to ball skill and power from this kid is absolutely insane. Like I know they play in a stupid small stadium, but the guy is absurd. Like I don't think we've seen anybody come up this early as a kid. Well, I say kid, but the guy is 23. He's not considered a kid in baseball years, but that's up for debate as well. But he's a big guy, 6'5", 240. But he's an absolute menace in the box. But pair him up with a guy like Shea Langoliers, who is absolutely who absolutely should be an all-star. He's having a crazy season as well. I watched him against the Braves when they played in Atlanta earlier in the season, and he hit a home run in back-to-back games. Like he looks like a star, and it's funny enough that he was at one point he was part of that Sean Murphy trade back. How long ago was that? Maybe 4 years ago now. Um, Sean Murphy was traded from Oakland to the Braves for Shea Langoliers and a bunch of other prospects. Haven't really heard too much about those other prospects other than Langoliers, but I think both sides are, pretty happy with this deal. Braves ended up winning a ring, and I think the Athletics have their catcher of the future. And then here at the bottom, you have the Angels, 35 and 49. I just hope Mike Trout gets healthy again. He's been dealing with he's been dealing with a hamstring issue lately. I really hope he comes back and can, play a little more, because I think the world is a great place when Mike Trout is playing, and he hasn't been, high average Mike Trout anymore. He's trying to slug a little more. 17 bombs in 74 games. The average is kind of low, 234. But, as Mike Trout gets older, this is kind of what we expect. The guy isn't 23, 24, 25 anymore. He's 34 now. But still, I would like to see Mike Trout's hamstring kind of, rejuvenate itself so we can see Mike Trout on the field more. Moving over quickly to the National League, Braves, Phillies, Marlins, National, Mets. I think the big one here is how bad the Mets are. They just fired Carlos Mendoza a couple days ago, and I think the whole world agreed that something needed to happen. Obviously, the manager is always the first guy to go, and then you kind of start to sell off your assets. This was a big off season for the Mets. They acquired some pitching in Luke Weaver and Devin Williams for that back end of the bullpen. But I'm seeing a lot of, comments and opinions on social media that, they're hoping a bounce back from Kodai Senga, and Sean Manaea, which, were two big guys in that rotation. And I kind of agree. Like, these were guys that, showed some struggle last year and didn't seem to look like they were turning a corner anytime soon, and kind of just hope, new season, let's see what happens kind of thing. And it hasn't gone better at all. And, everybody's playing bad defense on that team. It seems like an epidemic with the New York Mets. And, hopefully there's no Mets guys that listen to this, or girls, Mets girls or guys that listen to this podcast, but guys are kind of in shambles right now. The Phillies have been playing great ball since they fired Rob Thompson, and Don Mattingly has taken over. Schwarber maybe could catch an MVP, but I doubt it if Shohei is still alive and breathing. The Nationals have been good as of right now. Pitching staff is horrible. They can't close games, but they're 43 and 42, just above 500. Can't really complain about that. But it's the Nationals. They're a young team. They're just looking to build right now. Moving on to the Central, where there's a couple surprises here, at least in my opinion. Brewers 50 and 30, kind of running away with everything. But again, this is a year that we expected, or at least I expected. They sold off Freddie Peralta, and we're like, oh no, the Mets have no pitching. They're gonna regress somehow. Boy, were we wrong. This is a team that always finds a way to find pitching, whether that be through openers, starters coming in. They mix and match very, very well. But man, this team just does the thing. It's always surprising to me that, we count out the Brewers for, their lack of big ticket free agents and not wanting to spend and whatnot. But here they are with probably one of the better records in the league, just behind the Dodgers, obviously. The Cubs coming in second. Not much to say about the Cubs. I think they're good. They should be good with the team that they have. It's just a really solid team. There's not going to be obviously you have your PCA, your Alex Bregman, Seiya Suzuki, Dansby, Michael Bush. Like they have a solid team up and down the lineup. I would just like to see them add a little bit of starting pitching. I know Matthew Boyd is supposed to be coming back soon from knee. Is it his knee and his back? Or no, knee and elbow, I think. Because he had a couple of weird injuries. Um, Next and third place here, we have the Cardinals with a supposedly rebuilding year. The Cardinals find themselves in third place in the division, only 7.5 back of first place, but they find themselves in the wild card race. This is a team that we've seen major leaps and bounds from guy like Jordan Walker, who I think everybody was, hoping and waiting for a breakout the way that he is. This was a guy that had major upside as a prospect and never really put it together. And now we're seeing him, kind of blossom into the player we all wanted him to be, hitting 290, slugging, hitting bombs, quietly has stole 10 bases as well. This is a big guy too, 6'6", 250. But 18 home runs. I remember he was on a heater at the beginning of the season, kind of slowed down, but still, regardless, putting in a great season. Hopefully, he has done enough to become an all-star. I mean, could also win, not most of, I guess, comeback player of the year, maybe. A little too early for that, but we shall see. Um, the surprise for me here is the Pirates, although they are playing under 500 ball at 41 and 42. They're not terrible. And I remember me and AJ in the preseason, I talked about, Pirates need to do something with this pitching staff. They're not going to be bad. We've seen a breakout from Braxton Ashcraft, who I think should be an all-star with the season that he's putting on. But for as it seems to me, every time I turn on a pulse team start, he's getting shelled. But when you realistically look at stats, um, 93 innings, putting up a 3.10 ERA, 114 strikeouts, 20 walks, 32 earned runs. He's given up quite a bit of the long ball, 9 home runs. But if you look at the record, he's 6-7 in 17 games. So it's a combination of the Rays, or not Rays, the Pirates not giving him enough runs, but there has been a couple blow up starts. The first start of the season wasn't good, but you can blame that on O'Neal Cruz. But this team hasn't been doing as bad as I thought coming into the season. Brandon Lau has been an absolute godsend for this team. I really like the move when they traded for him. But he's absolutely provided some thump to this team, already having 20 home runs, 56 RBIs. You're gonna get a solid second baseman here. Um, but pair him up with a guy like Ryan Reynolds, who we know is going to be probably a Pirate for life. And then also the addition of Ryan O'Hearn. He's been quietly a great pickup for the team as well after signing that big contract. Kind of hadn't done really that well, Marcell Ozuna, but we don't need to talk about him. Talk about Ozuna from the Braves, not Ozuna from the Pirates. Connor Griffin has been, someone that I wanted to watch play from the start of the season, but man, this kid is electric. Needs to at least cut down the strikeouts a little bit. But this kid is going to be the future of the Pirates. No matter where you put him, I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him. And I might have to invest in a Connor Griffin jersey. It's one of those, like, if you know kind of jersey. And then the Reds, the Reds have been a little bit of a disappointment. Ellie has been hurt for a little bit. I know he just came back not too long ago, but for a team that hits in Great American Ballpark, they're not hitting it well. I know they just called up what was his name? Edwin Arroyo, who is their shortstop, second baseman, third baseman, kind of in a pinch. But no one on this team really gets you excited at the plate. Um, this team, outside of Sal Stewart and Ellie, it's not really anybody that gets you excited here. Sal Stewart has been good for the team, leading them in home runs and probably all offensive stats. But yeah, the pitching, they should be getting Hunter Green back soon. Not Corbin Burns. Chase Burns has been an absolute dog for them. Should be named an all-star. Sneaky could be a Cy Young candidate at the end of the year. I think he'll finish top five. But the NL is also loaded with Cy Young award winning pitchers: Christopher Sanchez, Ray Zarowski, Shohei, Paul Skeens, and then you throw in Chase Burns. It's quite a loaded area, and hopefully, some of those guys taper off and we see, the youngest Cy Young. I don't know. I could be also wrong on that, but it would be fun to see. And then moving on to the NL West, we have obviously the Dodgers at the top. The pitching staff has been a little iffy. Glasnow's been on the shelf. Roki hasn't pitched good. They have Eric Lauer starting games. Sorry, Jays fans. He's actually been pretty decent too for the team. But this team, I think they're just kind of sandbagging until the playoffs come. Edwin Diaz has been, I think he's on the shelf right now with the elbow problem. This was their big ticket free agent. But again, this team will find a way into the playoffs and nobody will be surprised when it happens. But this team is obviously a juggernaut. The Kyle Tucker hasn't been playing as well as obviously his contract has massive as that guy's contract is. He has not been living up to it, nor has honestly probably Juan Soto with how big that contract is either. But that's another conversation for another day. We have the Padres coming in a second place. Honestly, don't have too much to say about the Padres. This is a surprise. They're hitting, at least from things that I see, not as great as people were expecting. Machado is hitting under 200 currently. I know there is that thing going around with Tatis only having 2 bombs, but he's been at least hitting for a higher average than in years past. Only 3 bombs, but hitting 284 this year. He also has been moving from right field to second base quite a bit, or at least that I've seen. Don't know what their plan with that is moving forward, but I know they have Ramon Laureano out for the rest of the year with I think hip surgery, if I remember correctly. But this is a team that, again, I think will sneak, if not in the wild card, will they won't win the division obviously, but they will sneak into a wild card spot. Again, another just solid team. Same thing with the Diamondbacks. They're playing under 500 right now just by a game. But this is a team whose offense is way too electric with Corbin Carroll there manning the team. Also, Ketel Marte. Those are 2 guys, if they're going right, this team could go pretty far, pretty much on a heater. It's just more so the pitching that worries you. The pitching staff isn't known for, being the strongest, but they should be getting Corbin Burns back from Tommy John very soon. Hopefully, he's not a shell of himself and able to provide some kind of depth, and not obviously not right away for easing in after Tommy John, but they need something out of the starting rotation that'll give them the confidence moving forward to not have to buy and sell the farm for possible trade deadline. Giants have been pretty disappointing. There's been a lot going on with if you're tearing the team down or not. I think they should. Um, I don't know with what prospects, but I know you could probably get a lot for a guy like Jung Hoo Lee, who's on a pretty team-friendly deal. It is a longer-term deal, but I think he's probably worth it with how he's swinging the bat this year. Finally looks comfortable and is healthy. Same thing goes with the Luis Arias, who's playing low-key elite defense, and is also impacting the ball a little more. Hopefully, I don't know. I do want my Yankees to pick them up, but at the same time, it worries me because this is someone we've been eyeing for years, and never really works out. But I also think he is an absolute what do they call it field? Giants, whatever. Giants Park merchant. This was a place I wanted to sign, spray the ball everywhere. Same goes with him in Colorado. I could have saw that happening. Um, Actually, that's a good segue onto the Rockies. Rockies are the Rockies. Everybody's playing bad except for Hunter Goodman, who had a 3 home run game yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, I think this is a team that's going to be selling off quite a bit of pieces. I think Antonio Senzatella will be gone. Um, Hunter Goodman, we could see moved potentially. And outside of that, not many guys on this team that really get too excited on the pitching staff. Michael Lorenzen will find a job somewhere just to eat innings. Um, Same thing goes with Jose Quintana if he can get healthy. But who knows? This team is not good. Will not be good anytime soon. And it's kind of sad because who doesn't want to watch Rocktober again? But I think that's going to close it out for, a little bit of the standing update and, my opinion on each and every team that has been playing this year. I think the next episode we'll kind of talk about All-Star Game. I think we'll have a better idea of what the team looks like and give my thoughts on the starters/reserves and probably a whole bunch of snubs. Because there's been quite a lot of guys this year that have been balling out. But with that being said, I hope each and every one of you enjoyed this episode. Again, I apologize for having the big delay in upload consistency. Bring it back on it soon enough. I think you guys are gonna like who I got in mind coming up for some interviews and just hopping on the pod, talking some ball. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Give your boy some 5 stars and write a review if you're feeling polite. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.